What's up, military millionaires? Today I'm going to let you in on the secret for getting 5-star reviews on Airbnb every single time. The name of the game when you are hosting a property or room on Airbnb is reviews. If you wish to be a successful host or even a super host, you will need to care about the reviews you receive. Here are some of my favorite ways to get 5-star reviews on Airbnb every single time. Make sure you stay to the very end of this video because I'm going to give you not only my super secret trick for getting those 5-star reviews, but also the golden rule, which is a few final things to really summarize this and ensure that you are guaranteed to get those 5-star reviews every time. I've been hosting 2 bedrooms on Airbnb on and off for almost 2 years now and received nothing but 5-star reviews throughout that entire time. Here are some pointers so that you can do the same. The first way to lock in those 5-star reviews is to earn some karma points in your favor by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. That will help the YouTube algorithm decide this video is worth a shit and consequently earn you some karma points, which will be returned by your next host in their review. Before guests' arrival, the first thing you need to do is spend time preparing your place and managing your guests' expectations. Airbnb hosts earn 5-star reviews on everything from mansions to yurts with dirt floors. Doesn't really matter. However, if your guest booked a mansion and shows up to it being a beat-up old house, you can bet your review will suffer. Take the time to set up your short-term rental correctly, accurately, and nicely to manage the expectations of your guests and ensure that what they pay for is exactly what they get. Accurate description. The first thing you need to do is ensure the description of your space is accurate. Don't think you can get away with annotating a hot tub if you don't actually have one for the guest to use. It sounds simple, but you would be amazed how many inaccurate descriptions are floating around. On the other hand, don't skimp on your description either. Make sure you annotate every amenity you have and write a solid description of exactly what the guests can expect while staying at your place. Accurate pictures. Spend the money on a professional photographer. One of the things Airbnb does that I thought was cool is hook you up with a solid photographer. When I first listed my space, they reached out and connected me with a professional to take pictures of my residence. They also take the payment for it from your first stay or two so that you will not need to pay the photographer up front, which I thought was a nice touch. Now, I own a decent camera and thought I had taken good pictures of the home, but they were absolutely nothing compared to the pictures she took for me. This made a noticeable difference for bookings we received. Also, make sure your place looks like the pictures when your guests arrive. Don't stage the home with really nice furniture and then replace it with beat-up hand-me-downs before the guest arrives. And yes, I've actually seen people post where they, like, here's what was advertised, here's what I got. Doesn't work out for you. Your guests expect to see exactly what the pictures advertised, and their review will reflect this. Clean space. This should go without saying, but make sure your home is clean. Not only does Airbnb have strict cleaning standards right now due to the pandemic, but guests want to stay in a clean space regardless. Make sure the room, bathroom, kitchen, common areas, and entire place looks to be at hotel standard or better when the guests arrive. Believe me, they will notice if there are hairs in the bathroom or on the bed. They will notice a dirty bathroom and dirty silverware. Keep your place clean. Your guests and their reviews will show how much they appreciate it. Competitive amenities. The more amenities you have in the home, the more you'll be able to charge for nightly rent. Some of my favorite amenities to include are a Keurig with coffee, creamer packets and sugar, high-speed internet, quality cable, TV in a bedroom, and bonus points for a smart TV, shampoo, conditioner, hotel-style bars of soap, individually wrapped makeup removal wipes, you know, little things. I've even heard of people leaving a chocolate on the pillow or bottle of wine for their guests. No, I don't. Sorry, if you want to check in here, you know, whatever. You get me? Ultimately, you can overdo this. If nobody in your area has any amenities, then you don't need to go overboard. On the other hand, if every Airbnb around you has coffee, internet, and a hot tub, you might want to consider those amenities or you'll bring in less than market rent. As with everything else we mentioned above, it is better to have extra amenities in the home than it is to have amenities listed in the description of your place that don't actually exist. Do not try to oversell your place. Instead, create a nice listing and then sell exactly what you have during your guest stay. Your guest has finally arrived. Now what? Well, you need to continue to ensure they have a great stay. This is especially true if you're renting rooms out of your home or a shared space for your guests. Communication. Make sure you are available to answer any and all questions that arise when the guest arrives or throughout the duration of their stay. You can mitigate a lot of these questions with a very thorough welcome aboard packet, but you should still be prepared to answer their questions because, let's face it, people are dumb and they don't read that stuff. Be a good person. I think that's a great motto in life, regardless, but it is especially true here. You need to conduct yourself professionally when dealing with your Airbnb guests. They will absolutely remember how you interact with them, and those impressions will carry over to the reviews you receive. We touched on this earlier, but keeping your place clean is important. Don't let the place get trashed just because your guest has already arrived and the first impression has been made. Continue to take out the trash, run the dishwasher, and keep the place clean if it's a shared space. This doesn't really apply if the guests have their own space and you won't be going over there during their stay, but you get the idea. Noise. Again, this is more for shared spaces. Ensure you keep the noise levels low and definitely do not make a ton of noise at night. Slave to the reviews. As shitty as it is, you are a short-term rental host and you are a slave to your reviews. You need to remember this and act accordingly. Even if your guest does something frustrating, as many of them will, you need to turn the other cheek and make sure they think you are an awesome host. I had a guest not too long ago who would smoke behind the house. I had told them it was okay, despite it being a non-smoking house, as long as the home didn't smell like cigarettes. Unfortunately, they would bring the butts into the house instead of throwing them into the trash can out back, so the house smelled like cigarette smoke. This same guest ate my roommate's meal prep on their first night, and even helped themselves to my bottle of Macallan 18, which is a fairly expensive bottle of scotch. While all of these things were very frustrating, I had to pretend they didn't bother me at all and remain polite to this guest for the duration of their stay. It simply isn't worth a bad review and potentially losing your superhost status to let your guests know how frustrated you are. Now, if they're legitimately breaking your rules or trashing your place, obviously point it out. You need to do so in a polite way though, and always have their review in the back of your head. After this guest left, I pointed out what they did in my review and let Airbnb know that I would not host them again. You owe it to any future host to leave an honest review and ensure it shows if they were a bad guest. But don't let them know until the review process, because otherwise they're going to leave you a crappy review and that can really hurt your superhost status. Now, don't worry, they can't see your review until theirs is posted, and they can't change their review after they leave it. You don't have to leave them a good review, but you need to leave them one on checkout day. Your last real chance to make a good impression is on the day your guest checks out. Make sure you take advantage of this opportunity. So my super secret trick, right? You can botch a lot of the items above and still pull out a 5-star review if you use this simple trick. The night before your guest leaves or the morning they depart, send them a simple text message that says something to the effect of, "Thank you for being an incredible guest. I'll be sure to leave you a 5-star review." Obviously, you can make this more personal, and I recommend it, but this simple text does a few things. First, it makes your guests feel good about themselves and leaves them with a good final impression of you and their stay. Secondly, it gently nudges them to leave a 5-star review. Some guests don't understand that a 4-star review is actually a bad thing in Airbnb land. As such, they might be planning to leave you a 4-star review without realizing that you really need that 5-star review to thrive on Airbnb. Once you mention that you're leaving them a 5-star review, they will most likely elevate their review of you to match. Finally, this invokes the law of reciprocity in your favor. When you give somebody a gift, in this case the gift of telling them you're going to leave a good review, they will inherently want to return the favor, which means a good review for you. And then after your guest's stay, if you have left them a review and they haven't finalized theirs yet, feel free to give them a nudge. Follow up with a message. I sometimes shoot them a message letting them know that I did leave a great review and I look forward to seeing their feedback. This is simple and subtle, but will inevitably get them to finalize their review for you. The golden rule of reviews. No matter what, don't say or do anything that could result in a crappy review until you are leaving your review. You are a slave to the reviews and must do everything in your power to get a solid one. Always remember 2 things. First, you should treat your guests as you would like to be treated and talk to them as you would like to be talked to in order to receive a good review. Second, Ensure your place is exactly the way you have it listed on the Airbnb platform. If anything, you should have a more awesome place in person than what was portrayed online, never the other way around. And finally, a bonus, oh no! Don't forget to send them the super secret message and let them know you're going to leave a great review. All right, if you made it to the end of this video, you're probably not paying attention to the too long don't read, but here's the synopsis. Be a good person. If you're a good person, you'll get reviews that reflect it. Ta-da!